Welcome everybody to our certified DevOps engineer live free training program. And as you know, this training I provided as a volunteer free of charge to support those entering into the ID. So today we start our journey together. Okay, this is our roadmap, and according to our roadmap, we are at day one. So today we will dive into the topic Linux for DevOps. More specifically, our focus will be on Ubuntu today. So, if you watch my previous videos, okay, or I don't know, but I always I always start game with the very basic level. And like our batch is very diverse. We have many people with the many backgrounds, right? So I will make sure everybody will understand from the basics. If you know the concept, please sit tight and refresh your concept. Be patient. Okay, if you have questions, you can ask me, you can do the thumbs up or something. That's why this group chat is there. You can also post your question over there. Okay, this is the again information, okay, for those who tuning in later. Okay, so don't forget to mark for our next training. And if you see, currently we are only doing the certified DevOps engineer. Later we will also have professional security, Python, and especially this part is nowadays a hot topic. Here it's a Terraform certification, some of the Google, AWS, and I will also start the cybersecurity trainings. Okay, so this is plan for the next year. If you watch or if you recommend your friends, you can say they can scan the QR code, right, to join like you did yourself. I will also post link in the description when once it will be uploaded. So with that said, let's go ahead and see what we will cover today. So in our last session, this was our overall agenda for this day one, right? So in our last session, we already we understood the fundamentals. We seen how hardware, operating system, and user space all interact with each other, right? We also talk about introduction to virtualization, right? All these three layers. Then we see how we install VirtualBox. Then we saw the downloading the Ubuntu operating system, especially for the Mac, right? And then we created a virtual machine, and finally we installed the Ubuntu operating system. And after that, we did the post configuration. After the installation, we did this, right? And that was our agenda, and that all the we have already covered in our last session. Today our main focus is on section number 2, core Linux skills for DevOps beginners, right? So in this session, what we will cover, we will be covering, one moment. So like we already installed our operating system, now it's time to little bit familiar around. Guys, I'm telling you, we are not going to always use the desktop environment, but yes, as a beginner we know, and it's my responsibility to let you know as well, okay, how you navigate around the desktop environment when you use. Then we will see, okay, what are the advantage strengths of the terminal as well as the GUIs when you use GUI, when you use terminal. Okay, so I could have been skip this topic, but intention or motivation behind this is to prepare our foundation, right? Then we'll be exploring the Linux file system, which is one of the very confusing topic. Okay, initially we maybe you have this question: what is mount point? What is file system? What is ext4? What is XFS? And all these things, right? So that's why I put this as this topic is as well for our agenda. Then we will go and look into the fundamentals commands and the essential commands for DevOps, and at the end I will explain you the layer, the architecture of the Linux. Because if you search on the internet, then you find this topic. Most of the, I also found this, most of the author, I mean, it's their personal preference, right? They put the architecture or layering of Linux at the very beginning, right? I put it at the end, and I will let you know why. There is a solid reason behind this, right? So each and every point which I will explain you, there is a reason behind this. So it's not just I overnight did this design the our objective and I'm presenting you. No, it puts a lot of time to decide what should I include and what should I not include, because Linux, it's very vast. But as a DevOps engineer, what we need to do, because we are not going to do any administration work, right? But we should know, we must have the understanding, and we should know how we use the Linux in our DevOps workflow. So that's the overall aim for this. So with that said, it's our objective. So let's just start with very first thing, getting started. So we know, I hope you know how to start your virtual machine, right? And then we start your virtual machine, you could see this screen. After that, it asks you for, you shows the user ID, then you have to put the password. And after that, yes, this is where we land. And this is your main workstation, right? Once you have this screen, this is your main workstation. So this workstation, sorry, not workstation, a workspace. I'm sorry about that. Oh God, it's a live session. So if you see on this, we have four corners, and each and every corners have different things, right? So most of us, we come from the Linux background, sorry, Windows background. So you can see in Windows, we have many of the icons only at the bottom, but in this case, yes, there is no option over here, right? And here some options are over here, but you have option, you can customize it as however you like, right? So let's start with very first thing from top to bottom, and then left to right, what is it about. So first we have the top bar, right here, right here. This is our top bar. In this top bar, let's start with this one. So when you see this one, right, this is called the activities, right? When you click on this, and so in your workspace, you could see there is a grid, right? There is a options open over here. Whatever application you are using or you open, you can quickly click on this button or this activity icon, then it will shows you over here. That is very handy, right? And you can see at the moment I have opened the file explorer, I would say, in a simple term, right? And the Firefox browser, right? Very simple. Then next, it also allows you to search for the apps and files as well, right? So here there is one more option where you can, if you don't find what you are, or maybe if you want to find something or open some application, you can type over here, you can find it, right? Then next we have, there is an option in middle, okay, which shows your date and time, right? So simple date and clock, you can enable and disable as well those, which is fully customizable, right? Then we have this icon, right? So which is similar to what you have in Windows on right side at the bottom, right? When you click on this, you could see the network icon, you could control the volume, you can, but not the power button, right? And many other notifications as well. Similarly in Windows, sorry, in Linux, we have this option on this top bar. And this is called either system tray, or you could also say status bar, right? And on any of this icon, when you click on this, okay, so like this, then what happened? Then this kind of window, right, this appear. And out of this, we have, when we click on this one, okay, or like if you want to take a snapshot, or if you want to do the recording, when you click on this will open this function, right? Next we have the option, this is for the settings. If you want to customize, okay, let's say the network setting or any setting, you will find over here. It's very simple. Here the it will shows you the wired connection, right? If you have more than two Ethernet cards, it will all shows over here, right? Then we have the dark style, like I'm the big fan. If you're like me, then you can switch the theme, right? Clicking on this button, very simple. Then we have the power mode. If you want to save up some power, but it's a virtual machine, but in case of physical system is there. Then we have this one. When we click on this, our system get locked, and then we have to put password. And finally, we have option the power button, right? When we click on this, yes, then you'll find this option, suspend, restart, power off, and log off. Very simple, right? Nothing special here, right? But just as a walkthrough, as I said, it's a walkthrough, that's why. Then we have a dash. So dash, when you see this icon, right, in the bottom, and here, and then when we click on this one, then dash will be displayed. So first of all, what is dash? So it's a desktop environment, right, which provides you the help facilities like searching, launching the application, and all this, right? So when we click on this button, right, then it directly opens like this. And here we have one thing, this one, this Okay, it shows the grid of all the installed application. So it is different than this one, this activity one. When you click on this activity, so it shows whatever application you currently you are working on. And when you go with this one, then it gives you all the information, the application which are installed, right? So, and which also gives you the option for the searching, where we can type and search any application. So let's say I want to find the text editor. I try just text, right? Once you do this, then when you right click on this, right, then this will go to your this part of the window. Here it was not there, but now as we pin it, it's very simple thing, but still I'm letting you know. Then go back, right, and then next topic is our dock. So dock is very simple. This one, the vertical bar, right, which is left side of the screen, right, which is your dock. And as I said, you can consider this as a taskbar in the Windows. You can also move around, do the customization if you directly switching from the Windows. So you maybe you can put it like over here in the bottom in the customization. Okay. So what happened with this? You could see we pin the our previously text file editor. When we open that, then it is pinned over here, right, in the top. Then if I want to unpin, so right click on this, simple, then it will no longer available with this. So here one more option is available, which is your app center, right? And then one important thing, like you see on this dot in front of this one, right? This is our file explorer. So at this two place, we have these two dots, right? So this two dots means the applications are currently running. You could see here there is no dot, right? It's a very tiny thing, but we usually don't mind why these dots are, right? And we don't need as well. But just as a basic things, I'm just letting you know. Rest you could explore by your own. Okay, so that's it on this our navigating the desktop part. There are so many other things as well, but I don't think those are relevant at the moment, right? So similarly, if you have to explore, I mean, I should have been put some other example instead of putting this one, right? So you can simply search over here the terminal, then terminal will be open. Right click on that, because anyways you are gonna do a lot of use of your terminal, right? And after that we can pin this, and that will show something like over here. No worries, but there is a shortcut as well. I will let you know after some time. We are directly jump to the our Linux operating system, and we will do the hands-on. But before that, this was the just walkthrough. These are the some of the basic things which I thought to show you, right? Do you have any questions on this? Right, very simple, nothing crazy, straightforward, right? Then next topic is our, in this section this much. Then in next section we have GUI versus CLI. So GUI is stands for what we just saw, the desktop environment, right? Graphical user interface. And the CLI, it's a command line interface, right? So there are two different things in both. So GUI, it means we are navigating through the, as I just saw, as I just showed you. Similarly, in CLI, we are talking with our computer but in the form of text, right? This is the basic difference. So let's just start with, there are some key points. So in this column, we will see all the key points. And here we will see the GUI versus CLI, what happened. So first one is user friendly. So in terms of user friendly, it is very intuitive. It is intuitive. So you see like your smartphone, right, your computer watch or whatever you are interacting with the buttons, right? You don't have anything like you have to write something to in order to access it, because they are designed in that way. That's the main reason, right? So they are designed to be intuitive and easy for everyone to use. That's the main reason of the GUI, right? Then in terms of CLI, what happened? So like I showed you, right, this is the our desktop icon where we have this explorer file folder. When we click on this open, and if I want to, let's say, want to find some videos or my documents, so I can click any of the folder, right? As a beginner, It's really nice, no problem at all, right? Very easy. But CLI, it's efficient. When we have to use, we can visualize this thing in the GUI. But CLI are more efficient. So how efficient? For example, as I just let's see over here. So when I told you, okay, if I have to roam around with the between the directories, the folders, right? Then what happened? I have to click on each and every folder, right? Similarly, instead of that, if I have to execute one command. I'm on the terminal, right? And usually what it happens when you log into the server, you do not have the option of the GUI, right? So both have plus and minus. So it is more intuitive. You can, or the one who is just starting, they can quickly navigate through the clicking on this icon, right? But in terms of CLI, you have to learn the commands, right? But which seems initially a little bit tricky, but once you are expert into that, then you will love to use the commands, not the GUI, right? And by the end of this section, right, I will show you how, and you will also realize how powerful the CLI option, right? Then next we have flexibility. So in GUI, GUIs are very limited, right? Where CLI provides you a lot of flexibility, right? These are versatile. You can do what you want to see. So for example, let's take example over here, the same one, right? In this example, let's go. So same my explorer, I go over here. For example, I have some file. Let's say this file one, and inside this file, I want some text to be there. So inside this file, I have put some text, right? Or maybe I'm on server and I'm finding the logs, right? Some kind of log. Let's say the date. On the server, you have thousands of files, right? In that case, how will you do it? So it's okay. You install the server operating system, you like it, then you install additional on top of that your desktop packages, right? And then you could see, or you could access your server via remote access, those who supports the GUI version or GUI thing, right? And then you're accessing your server, and when you go over here, this icon, right, this the search, and click over here, this will open like this. Then you type, then what happened, it starts finding all the files for you. So this case, this is just a one file, and I'm looking for only one letter, right? Same thing. After that, what happened? This opens this search bar, right, where I put the my text which I wanted to find, right? But in case of CLI, what happened? It's completely different, right? I just put a command. Don't put your head on that. We will come to these commands, and I will show you how we can use these more commands in more sophisticated way. This is just a simple, very simple thing, nothing special, right? Then I just put grep. I said seshar and tsop. So here, what it does, it finds and it gives me, okay, this is the file one, and it gives you me, okay, this file has this text, right? This is not the name of the file, guys. I'm not finding, or I was not looking for a file. I was looking for particular string in a file, right? So if you see here, it also gives me where is this file located, right? So, and but in case of GUI, I do not have this facility, right? Which is limited. I'm not saying it's not bad. We are not doing good or bad comparison. We are just looking into it. We are just comparing where is what best fit. So as a beginner, of course, when I started, I also installed this desktop version. I always thought, okay, why shouldn't I have this GUI version, not this command line version? And inside that, I did practice. But when you have to go and actually work in real life, then no, you do not have the GUI option at all over there. You only have this one screen, or I would say the black screen, right? So you could see here, I don't know where is the file, but here this command gives me the exact where this file is also located. So this file was located in video folder, even not in my home directory, right? So just simple. So that's why if I come back over here, right? So GUI has limited, right, functionality. Whatever options are available, let's say when you click on some of the icon, right, when you click right click on that, so whatever options are available over there, you can only use those, right? So you are restricted, you are limited with those options. But in case of CLI, no, you are not restricted. You can do whatever you want to do with that particular command until and unless it is supported, right? Similarly, this is our one of the thing. Next point we come, the resource uses, right? So in GUI it's a resource intensive, right? And CLIs are minimal. So like some of you already ping me and mention about, right, my system or my laptop is not enough, right, resourceful enough to install the operating system. So in that case, what you can do, simple disable the GUI option, and you definitely realize you can use the same whatever hardware configuration you have, right? You can use those and you can install. Similarly, you can install more than one operating system on the same configuration, right? I will also show you how it will happen. But why this GUIs are more resource intensive? Because of the graphical rendering, right? So for example, let's see, when this is the, I will show you what is this as well. So we are just checking into activity where we could see the performance of the application. So at the moment, what happened, I'm in GUI mode, right? And this is my usual application. Then what happened, I have opened more applications, right? So for example, some browsers, some files, and they start searching. Then what happened, this CPU uses as well as memory uses start getting increases, right? Though, if I do not have any GUI facilities, or when I close all the applications, then this will automatically goes down, right? So when we compare, so this red one was the before opening many windows of the file explorer as well as the browser, right? Everything. So this yellow one shows what happened when we open more of the application. So it consumes more resource than the text fast, right? So when I if I access all these things like editing a file, I don't need to open or just to do the ls command. You could see there is a difference, right? You could see the here the huge difference, not only huge difference in between your performance or resources of your sorry, uses of your resources, right? So this is about this one. Then we go and see the next one. Then efficiency, so slower. So GUI can be slower for repetitive tasks, right? You have to click through on the menus and windows, right? While CLIs are faster, right? So because it can be much faster for the task where you have to perform some repetitive thing, right? So but let's talk about this. So for example, you want to upgrade your operating system. So then what happened, you have to open the software installer. Ultimately you have to click on the activity, or maybe not activity, the ubuntu icon. When right, then dash will be open, the dash I would say. Then you search the software update center, right? Then it will give you this icon, right? Then you have to click on that, this will open. Then you have to click on the install, and after that your system will be upgraded, right, or updated. Similarly, instead of this one, if I go on the terminal, I have to write only or execute only one command, nothing more. Sudo apt update. So this and means we ampersand means we are executing two commands at the very same time, right? And it's dash y says yes. We will talk about this all the commands in a while, right? When we go to the terminal. But just I'm telling you the comparison what happened. So in case these are faster than this one, because you do not have to navigate to the multiple places and come over here. Once your terminal is open, just execute the command and you are done, right? Then next one, it comes to the advanced operations, right? So advanced operations, it means here GUI is the basic, right? So as I say, the GUIs are good for everyday tasks, right? But might not support more advanced operations or automation specifically, because like as I said, whatever options are available in the GUI, you can only those options are, right? No more options, right? Then that's why these are I'll give you the example, right? So what happened in CLI, these are powerful, right? You can do the automation using the command. So for example, let's see this example, right? So I was talking about this one. So when you have to rename the multiple files, then what happened, you do the right click on this, then rename. So this is only one file, right? When you have multiple files, so what you need to do, you have to go to each and every file, click right click on each and every file, then do the rename, right? So that's a issue, right? Of course these are facility, but you do not have more functionality. Whatever options you are presented with, you have to follow those options only, right? Then instead, if I go on the terminal, so I can only put this command, this is only one command, and all my tasks or all my things will be done, right? So here if you see what I have done, so it's a simple for while in start.txt do and blah blah blah, and all my files, those are .txt file. Okay, so maybe I could show you like this. Okay, so I could also write a script out of this command, but instead of going on this, I could also perform the same thing via the terminal in very effective way. So as I said, one file is okay, two file is okay when you have a lot of files. So actually when you are working on the server, right? And let's consider a scenario where you want to take a backup. So you said, okay, well, whatever files was yesterday created, I want to rename all those files. Let's say the .bak is the one of the extension. I just give a file, right? So I will can execute this command and this will automate my, right? So which is not possible with the GUI, right? So take around, we will also, I will let you know what shell script, how we can write this as well, but very simple thing, right? Then next, the comparison. So security is limited control in the GUI, where we have more or enhanced control in CLI. So let's quickly see what's the difference. So in GUI, when you create a user, right? So you go to settings and there you have to option, and then you provide the user, right? So you have to provide the username, then blah blah blah. There are so many information over here, right? But in case of command, if I do this via the command, so what can I do? It's very simple. Here I use this command, this will create the same user, it will also create the password. So in one go I can do the same thing, right? Or this maybe I could, so I could do in this way. This is the just a description of this one, right? So here what I'm doing here, first I have to create a user, right? Then of course I have an option whether I want to make it administrator, but instead of making it administrator via command line, I have more facilities where I could choose what particular command this user can execute instead of making it as a administrator, right? So this is all about our um, GUI versus the CLI, right? So, and additionally, if we know the commands, we can do the automation. So let's say you could say I can also do the automation with the GUI. Yes, you could. So first you have to learn how GUI is developed, how GUI is work, and which is probably harder than learning the commands, right? So that's why GUIs are far better, right? In terms of when we have to managing the server. So again, this is the overall summary, right? GUI offers a user-friendly, okay, visual interaction, while CLI provides powerful control through the text-based commands, right? So each has its own strength as well. So when you are beginner, it's good for you to go with the GUI. So as a, like we install it, okay, so we install with the desktop version. So initially it's good to have it, but after that, once you become expert, then I would say stop using the desktop, or of course if you continue with that, or if you are switching entire operating system, that's completely up to you, right? So these are the fair comparison, and now we know the power of CLI, right? So as I said, there was a motto or intention behind this to keep this, so you know what powerful the CLI, why we need to learn the commands, right? Any questions on this? Okay, then I will ask you a question. Okay, so what does GUI stands for? Mayank, thank you. Okay,
Graphical user interface.
very nice. Anyone? Anybody wants to answer? Okay, Kamlesh answer, Raj answer. Very nice, guys. Of course, graphical user interface. Let's see. Oh, I have to submit. Very nice. Well done. Thank you for the answer. Question. Let's go with the next one. CLI stands for. What does CLI stands for? Command line interface, computer log interface, command list interaction. All answers are correct. Mayank, Raj, Kamlesh, Mayank, thank you very much for participation. So computer log interface, right? Kidding. So this is for you guys. Again. Then let's see how many of you answer. So which one is usually easier for beginners? GUI or CLI? Very well. Mayank and man, very nice. Raj and yeah, yes. So as a beginner, yes, GUI is the thing. Now, guys, this is first of all this one. Thank you very much for participating in the question, right? So this is the comparisons what we have seen, and now we understand, or now you understand why we should learn the commands, right? So you could see there here we have the fundamental commands, right? So before that, I also put an option where you have exploring the Linux file system, so which leads us to our next topic. This topic is done, right? And then Linux file system structure. It's as I said, this topic is a little bit confusing in terms of what. So let's start with. So maybe you remember when we install our operating system, right? So on this screen, I told you we had two options. One option is to where we could erase the entire disk, right? And second option was the manual. So we go ahead and choose the manual installation, right? Then we presented with this, then we click on this plus icon, and after that we have to choose create a partition. It says create a partition, right? That day I didn't tell you, I just told you, okay, here we have to put some size, and then here is the mount point, right? I didn't tell you about this one, ext4. What is this, right? But consider what we have done. I mean, just we are refreshing what we have done that day. Then after that, we selected the swap, then we selected the slash home, and we done with this one, and we completely agree with this, and then we said okay, next. Then this screen will appear after copying the file. It says installing the file system. So here, I don't know how many of you noticed, and luckily I also took this snapshot. I was not literally, I was not waiting for this snapshot. I just took this one. Then out of this, what is important? So here you could see it says create a new partition, and it says slash dev sda1, right? Here it says slash dev. So dev is called as a device, and SDA2, then SDA3, and so on for SDA4. But we only created three partitions. We didn't create the four partitions. So you remember here, I told you when we create the first one, then SDA2 was automatically created, right? Similarly, here is the same thing, and it created this partition, right? And here it also says type. So type, it says Linux file system. So ignore the size at the moment, we are not interested in that. That is not the discussion of this. So here the important thing, it says slash dev sda1, it says type linux file system. Here it says slash dev sda2 bios boot. Here the type is bios boot, remember. Okay, then we have dev sda3, which says linux swap, right? And the last one, it says linux file system. So if you didn't notice, so no worries, you can also go in your linux system. Right here, this is the location, not 3011, this is the var log installer installer-journal.txt. You will find this file over here, and on line number, for me it was on 3011 or 3011. On this line number I found this file over there, and on this line you will find all same details which I just showed you before. So again, here there is a summary, it says device start and sector. These are the more when you study, of course, the operating system, right? So in what is the sector of start and all these things. So that's not our agenda, right? We are focusing on this first column, second column, and not even second column, the last one, right? So sd1, it says linux file system, right? 2 was the efi, right? Then we have linux swap, which is our swap and linux file. So these two are same, these two are different, right? So why is so? So okay, this was the install, once we install, but right after the installation, don't go over here, I will tell you what this command does. But simple, here when you execute this command, so you can also see what actually happened here. The sorry, important thing, it says the hard drive, right? It says dev sda, and I need to check the mount point. So I have another command which I run over here, right? So I will show you right after. When I go to the GUI one, I really did not have this facility, the what I particular information I want to. When I execute this long command, I will tell you what happened. It not only give this much output, right? So this way, the CLI option is more flexible. So why I'm showing you over here, let's go back over here. So in this one, we created a device, then we choose the size of the our partition, then we choose the ext4, right, which we didn't notice at all, right? And then we also choose the swap. So here the connection, the type column is matching with this one type, right? But here we are saying something else, but it's showing me showing us a something else, right? So SDF1, but here we said ext4, so it says Linux file system, right? Here it also says the Linux file system, right? And for, I mean, for SDF4, so when we click on this SDF4, you can see the ext4. So these are the two kind of file system, where this SDA3, right, it says Linux swap. So swap is also kind of one file system, right? And here EFI system, so which is created, or I would say the SDA2, the partition was created by the installer itself, which includes the files which are related to your uh, operating system, or that helps to boot your system. That's why it says EFI, right? So that said, this is one, right? When you compare all these things, right? So let's go ahead and see what happened when we selected this one, right? So again, created partition, we provide the size. Okay, we didn't touch this one, so by default ext4 is the we are using, and this ext4 is called a file system. Remember guys, this is the interview question, right? For Linux, it can, you might be asked what are the file system and what is the default file system. This is very stable, right? Almost more than 15 years I'm seeing this is the default one, and this ext4 is being used by many places, right? Or many people. So when we do it like this, then this one, then we didn't touch at all, and we did the mount point. Okay, we call this as a slash, right? So give me stay with me. This dots will connect all the dots, and will I will tell you why I'm showing. I mean, you will be able to connect the dots, and you will get to know why I'm explaining you. So when we did like this, then what happened? Installer created dev/dev/sda1, right? And it says Linux file system. So it, and here it says ext4. So type we already saw in the diagram, right? Which is ext4. Next, we created the swap. So in case of swap, I told you we do not have to go over here. Just come over here, click on this and select the swap. So as soon as you select here, guys, there is no options you can find, right? It's automatically disabled, right? Because swap is I'll tell you why, but just consider you don't have to put anything over here, right? Similarly, when we did like this, then this dev sda3, because it was created right after the our first one slash, right? And this is what happened there. Then we created mount point slash home. So ignore the size, this is not, but we know we have to be provided, we changed this to the GB, we provided the size, and again we didn't make any changes over here, right? And then we say the mount point is the slash home, right? And right after this, this is what happened in the by the installer. So at the end, this is the scenario, right? And this is the fourth one, or the sda2, which was created automatically. We didn't do, or we didn't make any of the changes for this, right? So similarly, when we created this one, so dev sda1 was created, right? When we create this one, dev sda3 was created, and sda2 was created automatically, right? And then when we provide, or when we created this partition, right, basically we are creating the partition over here, right? And dev sda4 was created, and all these things done by the operating system. So in case you are wondering why this is different, swap is different than this two, right? Here we have mount point, but here we do not have any of the mount points, right? So let's see why. Because swap is used as a virtual memory, so that is not a part of your I mean, you do not directly access this. So virtual machine is also used by the operating system for various reasons. Of course, it is one of the topic in your operating system. We are again not going into that, but still, just swap is your virtual machine, virtual memory which is being used. So that's why we don't interact. It is for some special purpose, right? And when we click on this, so we found right over here ext4, XFS, and BTRFS, VFAT, swap, and all this thing. So ext4 was default, which is used by the mount point slash and slash home, and VFAT is used for this one, right? I will show you how it looks like. But when you create, I mean, when this partition formatted by the operating system or the installer, then what happened? It's automatically go with the VFAT, right? So all these are, it was saying like used as, but these are your file systems. Okay, remember, these are your file system. Do you have any questions on this so far? Anybody? Okay, very good. So little bit, let's understand this, what actually we done. So just I'm giving you the analogy, just to understand what we have done, right? In this example, consider this is the foundation where entire building is there. So foundation is our hard drive, right? Then after that we have the entire building, right? So entire building, so what we can do, we can do the partitioning of the building. So when this is like dividing hotel foundation into the different section of floor, right? So we thought, okay, on this floor we will do this thing, on this floor we will do something else, and on this floor we will do something else. So here we did the partitioning of the entire building. Once this is there, then we decided, okay, we decided in partitioning 4. Then what we've done, like the same process, we provide the size, right? So here dev sda1, which is basically we set the mount point. Okay, I will come on the mount point as well. So here what happened, first we said okay, on this floor we decided the go with the 10 GB. Then in next one, this was automatically created, and which is dev sda2, right? Then we created the swap, right, and which is dev sda3. Maybe let's say it's a floor 3, and dev sda4 as a floor 4, and we decided to go with the 10 GB. So that's how what we decided. Okay, we allocate the floor, right? Once it is done, then what happened? Yes, we decided okay, in this way we will create our building, then floor. So next what we do the formatting. So when you create a partition in GUI mode, then there is an option. Once you create a partition, then you have to perform some formatting, right? And when you do, maybe I don't know if you format your pen drive, then you may realize when you do the formatting, then it asks you, especially in Windows, do you want to format it like NTFS, yeah, or FAT kind of, right? So that is Windows file system, right? So then we have to perform. So in formatting, basically we are preparing for our pen drive to be used, okay? And the in formatting, like when you provide this file system, then based on that, operating system will decide okay, what kind of data I will put into that place, right? So similarly, in this case, dev sga2, which is created automatically, right? So it will be the formatting will be performed using the vfat, right? Then we have the devsd1. We decided we will use this as a lobby, right? And so lobby is kind of reception area where we have everything, or everything will be happen like that. Then after that we have devsd3, which is formatted as a swap, right? So as I say, it's a reserve, right? Reserve place, or can be used for when we have more maybe guests in a hotel, then they can, or they are not happy with the room, they can swap easily, or in case of emergency they can use this place likewise. So then we have dev sga4, which is again as a format using the ext4, and which we could say which is the guest room, right, where all the guests will be come and can stay, right? So it's very simple, right? Then next come to the rooms. Then first we had foundation, then we have entire building. We decided to go in this direction, right? Once we done that, then we start preparing the floors, right? And once floors are there, then we talk about the rooms. So rooms are like your mount points, okay? So in the same thing you could see, um, when we so after formatting, what happened, this slash dev sda2. So whatever data, okay, so now partition we have to say okay, for that particular partition we have to say okay, this will be mounted over here. So here it means, okay, so though the arrow is showing towards this direction, but actually this is mounting on this, okay? So all the data will be stored in this, can be I mean for this partition, right, this is the mount point. So all the boot related things will be stored in slash boot slash efi, right? Then similarly, in this is actually automatically created, so we are not worried about it. This is for the operating system. Then we provide the mount point slash dev sda1. So we provided the size, then we selected okay, slash we want to do, and after that partitioning will be, I mean the formatting will be done, and so dev sd1 is provided as a slash. So as I say, it's a lobby or main area where everything will happen, right? Similarly in operating system, this is called as a root level or top directory. Under this directory everything will be stored, right? Then right after that, dev sda, So dev SDA3. So as I again says, it is a special kind of area, right, which is not being used by the user, right? Similarly, at the home, so here we did the mount point, right? Slash home we provided. So all the users' home data, right? Wherever, or like if you have n number of users, so all the users' data will be stored in slash home, right? Then I could say like this, mount point, mount point. So these, so that's why I said these are the mount points, right? And these mounted on this. So mount points are simple, the location where we are dividing what we want to put. So here we are informing operating system, I want you to put user related information over here, right? Of course, this is used by this, but on this one, right? All the information of your information or your things will be go over here, right? Then, so this is called file. So all these mount points, right, over here except this one, so this comes under the file system hierarchy, right? So I can say like this, on this one foundation, I did this thing, this here when I selected this, so I did the partitioning, I decide what size I want to do. Then I did the formatting with this file system, which is showing like this. And here I again choose a file system swap, which is reserved, right? And here the ext4 and v40 is also one of the file system. So I think it's a kind of confusing. Let's make it more uh, good. So here if I refer back to our diagram, right, which we saw previously, so foundation is similar to our hardware layer, right? And this building is like our operating system. Okay. So still it does not make any sense, I believe. So let's make it more simpler. So here foundation layer is our hardware layer, right? Room is after that building. In building we have floors, so floors are our file system hierarchy, sorry, file systems. And inside the file system we have rooms, and rooms are the part of file system hierarchy, right? Then if you see over here, this is our hard drive, it says dev SDA, right? And when in case when you have more than one hard drive, then it will say dev SDA1, dev SDA, I'm sorry, not one a, dev SDA B, dev SDA C, and so on, right? So at the moment we have only one hard drive. And here do the formatting, so dev sda2, it's automatically here, you cannot say dev sda1 ext4. And this one which was created automatically, dev sda2 was the vfat, and dev sda3 is a swap, then the sda4. So these are the partition of the same hard drive, right, which is over here, dev sda, this one, right? So it says sda, that's why it is telling us to dev, and it is also telling us slash dev sda2. So 1 2 3 are the partition, slash is the main mount point or main place where we can find this, and dev, I will show you, we can also find this as well, dev, right? So in our case we have only one hard drive sda. So if we more simplified this diagram, then we have hardware layer where we have actual hard drive, then we have operating system, and inside operating system we have file system, right? And our file systems are ext4, xfs, btrf, and all. There are more, but I'm just we are just sticking with this one. And in our file system hierarchy we have slash swap, right? Slash is also known as root partition, right? Then we have slash boot EFI and the slash home. Okay, so guys, remember, swap is not a part of file system hierarchy. Always remember, this is very important, okay? Because this is also part of our installation process where we are creating, we are installing operating system. We also create a partition. So it seems like, okay, we can also access this. No guys, yes, of course we can access this, but it's a different, we usually don't use it. We can see this, there are commands where you can make on and off of the swap, right? So same is like swap is like your virtual memory, which supports the other special kind of operations of the operating system, right? So with that said, uh, this one, any questions on this? Okay, so understand hardware layer, right, where our hard drive, tab, SDA, right, then we have operating system, right, then we did the partitioning, we divided, okay, this much amount of um, memory I want, or storage, right, in GB I want my this partition to be used. And after that, operating system or the installer will perform the formatting on top of that using one of this. So default is this one, okay, or what is appropriate file system is there, right? And after that we have the file system hierarchy. So then we provide the mount point. So I told you swap is not comes under the hierarchy, it's a special partition which is reserved, right? But this slash boot slash EFI slash home, right, these are the part of our file system hierarchy, right? So basically these are mount points, right, which are mounted for our partitions, right? So I hope this is clear to you and it's nothing tough so far. So now we understand all these things what happened. So which leads us to the our main or the next topic, which is the exploring the Linux file system. So here the directory and their roles. So that's why here I said file system hierarchy. So all these are, okay, part of the file system hierarchy. So before we start, let's see the time, what happened. Okay. Give me a second, guys. Uh, give me one moment. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. So this is our directory and their roles. So on top, so when we created or when we did the partitioning, right, what we found, what we did, we provided a mount point that was the slash, right, and which, as I said, I told you, which is a really important one, right? Let me show you once again. Yeah. So very first provided this one, okay, and then we provided this one slash home. So, but very first thing was the slash, right? And sorry, here in our directory structure, right? So, again, I have to go back over in our directory structure, right? This is called the top level or the root directory. Always remember, this is our top level or root directory. So that's why this is a mount point when we set our slash. I told you at the time, okay, just select the slash is one of the partition or the mount point, right? So what operating system will do, operating system will put all its files inside this directory, right? And all others user related will be, the information will be stored in slash home directory, right? So now we know the root directory, okay, that this directory contains all the essentials files in directory like this. Everything comes under the slash, right? This is first one. Then it comes to the slash home, right? So which is also called user home directory. So what happened with this? What is the purpose of? So whenever you create any user, right? Whenever you create any user, so that user's home directory will be by default goes under slash home, right? So let's say on the server, when you are creating many users, right, in that case you will be, if you don't provide, I mean, of course there are options where you can provide what users home directory should be like, but if you don't select that one, then this your the users you create will be created under the slash home, right? And similarly, this is the one thing, but um would say another yeah, let's say when you clone the repository, right? So why do you need to know? So for example, when we clone the repository from the GitHub, so by default it will comes, and if you want to find where I have put my project, so it will goes under your home directory, right? So by default slash home, which we provided during the installation, so all the users which will be create will be put under this slash home, right? So this is for the user related information. Then next come to boot, right? So boot files stores files necessary for booting, right? So which is used by the operating system, so which also includes like kernel boot configuration. And so in our case, we when we have this, so we had this dash or slash boot slash efi, right? So all the boot related files will be stored in this directory, right? Then next we come to the slash bin, right? So first three we already saw, that's why I explained those before, right? Then slash bin, what is slash bin? In slash bin, in this directory you will find all the essential commands which you need to execute, right? So let's say you execute a command cat, you execute a command ls, or cp, copying files one place to another, everything will be in this directory. This is just for the specific user, right? Or I would say the non-admin related commands or binaries, right? However you call want to say, will falls under, or you will find under this directory, right? Then next this is one of the example, but why do you need, right? As a DevOps engineer, what is the use of this one? So when you are setting up a Jenkins automation script, then what happened? You might need to use some basic utilities which also already include in this directory. So let's say I can already give you the example. Alice is I will show you in a bit, right? So all your commands which we are going to execute, which are non-admin related, you can directly find inside this directory, right? And sometimes what happen, you maybe install some application or some utilities, and this will go under this slash bin. Okay. Then we have slash etc. So etc is very special file, right? A special file in terms of the configuration. So whatever configuration you are doing, or so for example, let's you install um, Apache server or Nginx server, right? So by default, all the directory, I mean, all their configurations file will be stored in this place slash etc. Additionally, at the moment on our system, we didn't install any of the any of the web server. So what we will find, so all the system wide, okay, all the configurations files you will find in this slash etc directory. Additionally, when we created this partition, so there is also commands, right? Fstrap, so their configuration we will also find in slash etc, right? Apart from that, some network configuration or password related information, user related information, group related information, everything will goes under the slash etc. So why do you need to know about this slash etc. So as I said, when you install some applications or web servers, or when you install, for example, Docker, so if you want to find where is the configuration, so you go by default. You don't need to worry about by default this directory structure and their roles is followed by many of the Linux distribution, and you can directly configure. And if in case of any troubleshooting, if you saw like, okay, there is an issue with the configuration or something like that, you could directly go into this directory and the of the application directory, find the configuration, and quickly you can fix this. So that's why we have slash etc. Then we have slash var. So slash var is a special file, not, yes, I could say file, but it says directory, right? So in Linux, everything is considered as a file, including your hardware devices as well. Okay, so this is the concept of Linux, because of you can manage or you can control in better way, right? So in, let's come back to the this point here, slash var. So slash var is whatever information, right? Those are in size, variable size, which comes under this slash var. Your logs, okay? So let's, I just showed you, okay, during the installation, if you don't know this file, right, then you can go to the particular file and line number 3011. That one start with slash var, right? Because that is a log file, and logs are very, I mean, they are keep on growing. It's not static, right? So all the variable things, those who are or those are expected to be grow in their size. Okay, like logs, one of the example, database and caches, everything you can find under this one. So example is the slash var cache, one of the library, as I said. Log is also one of the example for this. Slash var template is also one of the example for this, right? So as I already told you, if you want to find a log, go to the slash var slash log directory, then you can find logs over there, right? So this is, in general, this is your file, okay, where you find or you will put or you will get all your logs on this. There are so many things, but just as a in short, consider whatever the things or files or it's expected to be grow, right? Those will be put over here. So not by us, I'm telling you, for example, in Kubernetes or in Nginx or Docker or any other application, so all logs by default go into the slash var directory, slash var slash log, or slash var, then application, and then under the logs, right? And how this will help you, so when you are doing the troubleshooting the issue, so you know where you have to go. You have to go to slash var, and inside that you will find the logs, and inside that you can find the application folder, and inside that you will find that particular application logs, or maybe you will find a directly inside the var log and the log file of that particular application. So that's why var files are, so this is the standard way, right? And here slash usr, so this are the user binaries, right? So all the slash, I would say the read-only data will be put under this one, so like documentation, right, and source code and all these things you will find is over here. So one of the thing, like your utility slash usr bin, okay, you will find in this directory. Lib is also, there are so many other libraries, you will find it over here. And the other thing, when you install something, so slash usr local, those are specifically to the user, right? Those are not going to go ahead and affecting the entire system, right? So we have this directory for this. And of course temporary is one of the file, and purpose of this is to, for example, you are editing a file, right? So operating system cannot save until you say control s, right? But operating system cannot also put that all the time in the ram as well, right? Of course your file is there, you are editing your file, but your I would say the changes you didn't save those, right? So the in between somewhere I need something, so this slash temp directory is there, all those kind of things will be um, stored over there, right? Similarly, when you create as a DevOps engineer, when we create a CI/CD pipeline, so during the pipeline execution, all the temporary files, right, so will be created in dash temp. I would also like to mention one more thing, because temp file has a lot of access, right? It's the directory, or it's a directory can be used by any of the user on the server, right? So that is also very easy option for the hacker. So they go, in case like if they go on the server, or they can access the server, they can access the temp file, they can download and start execution of their scripts on this that slash temp folder, right? I personally experienced this, that's why I'm just telling you, right? So this folder, all the temporary files you want to put, you can put, even though you can also use it. I will also show you in some of the cases we will be using the temp file, right? So all the temporary files, but once you restart, then everything of this slash temp will be go away. So that's why we have temp, then we have tab, so slash tab. So since I gave you the previous example, since then we are talking about slash tab sda1 slash tab sda2 slash tab sda3 slash tab sda4. So all the devices, so I mean like devices files, okay, that represent the hardware, we can find in slash tab, right? That's why we have tab. Okay, then boot we already discussed. So I already gave you the example of dash slash dev sda 1 2 3 and so on and so forth, right? And when you plug your pen drive, you will also find this over here, right? Then if you see, I explain you this many, we have more. Here we have slash root. So here you could see slash and slash root. So I told you this one is a top directory, root directory, right? So in, don't be confused with slash root and this slash root. Okay, this is the top level directory, right? Which is not um I would say this slash root is the home directory of the root in Linux. In other system like Linux is the super admin user. Guys, give me one moment. Connect the charger. Give me one minute. Okay. So what I was explaining about. Okay. So in Linux, basically, this is your user. So root user is the super admin, or I would say the administrator user, right? So as I say, there is a contradiction, right? I told you before, here we have the slash home, and I told you all the users related information will go into this directory. But for root, it's a different, it's under the slash, it's not under the slash home than slash root, it's a completely different slash root, right? So this is because of their design, because of the security, they keep the administrator completely, or because root is the super admin user on the Linux operating system, right? And because of the security thing, they design, they thought, okay, let's put slash root is completely dedicated the different root directory. Okay, then we have slash asbin, which is also similar to bin, but here we will find the utilities command, those are executed by the super admin, right? That's why it says sysbin, which is super admin, right? And I will show you in a bit that as well. Then we have opt/opt. So whatever third party application you install on your Linux operating system, that will their configuration. I told you third party proprietary, right? That you will find in this one. So let's say you install Chrome browser on your Ubuntu, then you will find the it will be installed in /opt. If you install some other games, that will go in this one. If you install, let's say, the Oracle JDK, then you will find this over here. So proprietary, right? Then we have var. It's not I mean, it's not right time to explain this one. It's not this one. This one mnt. Okay, so mnt, it's a kind of mount point when you have to. So like when we install the operating system, we said, okay, OS, these are the mount points for you. But once your server is there, then you need to mount something, right? In that case, you can use /mnt. So let's say you put one more hard drive, or maybe as a temporary, and you want to use that for the temporary purpose. So this is the default place /mnt. You can also use your own /home as well, right? No harm. But whenever you put, you will find in this one, right? And this srv, sys, and proc, these are special. I would It's not right time, or I would say we should hold over here. I will explain you some more things, then I will explain you what this directory is for. But as a beginner, you should know, okay, there is a slash, is one of the top level, and on top level we have these multiple files or folders or directories. So correct word is the directories, right, for the Linux. But under the hood, everything is file. Nothing files or folder. There is no such concept. Everything is file in Linux. But in general, we don't say in Linux as a folder. We say this as a directory. But no harm if you say folder. Nobody is going to punish you. Okay. So remember, this is our top level directory. Inside this we have all this, right? So here /home, where all the users data will be placed. This one where you will find all the your commands or utilities. Here you will find all the configuration related things, right? This is the files which are expected to be grow variable length. This will go in this one, right? Temp and /root. These are enough at the moment. Do you have any questions on this? Okay, then I take this as a no. And I would like to show you, before we go to the fundamental commands, I will show you how it looks like over here, right? ls/, you could see the bin. I think, okay, let's see this one. This is another representation in the form of tree. So here we have the same file, bin, boot, cd-rom, dev. So dev is there, etc is there, home is there, right? And I just use this command. So it looks like this. Okay. So guys, now it's time for the break. So let's take a, what's the time is there? Oh, very nice. So we'll take a break, right? And after that, we'll come back, and then we will continue with our essential commands, and then we are done with today's topic, right? So go and grab coffee and see each other in 10 minutes. Right. So it's also concern for our other friends. They also have not good amount or good not amount the sufficient hardware requirement, not requirement, the hardware to install operating system and do. So what you can do, directly search LinuxTutorial will land some. So this website, right? So my main intention is for you to guys use the commands. My main intention is not you for you. I mean, of course, if you learn, that's why I showed you this installation process, right? But once you've done the installation, because in cloud we really don't do the installation, but why I showed you the installation, so I just tell you, like knowing the file system hierarchy structure, it's good to know where we have to troubleshoot, you know how to mount the things and all this thing. But ultimately you must know the command. So if you want to do the practice, go ahead and do the practice with this. So it in this you can directly access your system. So you have to register yourself, right? I don't know, I do not remember. So once you register, after that click on the queue, then it will show you kind of virtual machines, and then click on virtual machines, and here you come again and you find the password. So here you have, but here you cannot do all the things which we will be using later on, right? But initially, just to make yourself familiar, log in and use this one. There are so many other, but I found this very useful, and it also provides you the Kali Linux, right? But stick with the Ubuntu, not Ubuntu. It is based on the CentOS 7, and it will also provide you the GUI based access right in your browser. Okay, so you can use this one, but if you cannot install on your own system, but at least once install operating system on your system to familiarize yourself with the installation process, what happened when you do something like that. Okay, any other questions from your side? No.
No, sir. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Okay, so let's move forward, and what we have now. Okay, so fundamental commands. So we have already seen all of these things: desktop, terminal versus UI, exploring the file system, and now we are at our topic, fundamental commands. So in this, I will tell you very, very, very fundamental commands, but those are more than that very powerful, right? And those are the commands you are really frequently use, and that will help you to, for example, you are setting up a pipeline, then you need to use that command. You need, if you need to find something, then you can use that command. If you want to check something, where is this directory, those directory, and all these things, you will be using those commands, right? So okay, let me switch back. Okay, fine. So I go over here. See, so this is okay, yes, I think everybody can see me do the password. I will still bear with this one, my first Ubuntu installation. I will show you later on how we can fix this one, right? Let me put the password, and I said password is the password because we are just starting. We don't want to go into the troubleshooting part. So I told you already all this stuff right here, here, right? And you could see it showing me to connect wired connection. I have two Ethernets, right? And I told you when you do like this, you find over here, right? And I'm a big fan of dark theme, so I click on this. If you're not, you can unclick, or if you want to go with the default, the choice is yours. And I will also tell like this. Okay, when you click, this screen is locked. Here you can do it unlock like this. Then okay, so I already walked you through how GUI is actually working. So now next thing is open the terminal. So this is the one thing, terminal. If you click on your, I cannot show you now. So Control Alt and T. So Control Alt and T. For Mac, it's a Control Option and T. For Windows, it's a Control Alter and T. Then you will come up like this screen, which is your terminal, right? And you can also, you can see I have already put it in my dock. So how I did, let me quickly show you. So you can also do this from here, right? The terminal, right click, or option, sorry, control option and T. It's open, and now it's open. I will do like this, pin to dashboard. I don't need help. Of course, guys, if you want, go ahead. This is our app center. We don't want this. When I need, sorry, I could access this as well. So I could not do that. This is the our file system explorer, right, which I was talking about. And here, see, that's what happened in daily builds. It's not a stable one. So I will just put side by side and show you what happened when we uh, execute the command. Then what, I mean, what is, or what happens happening over here, like that. One moment, let me keep like this. I think that that's enough. So guys, when you see, when I click on the terminal, I'm at this location, right? And when I click on this folder, I could see this one, right? So I have very simple command, right? That command, like when I click on the GUI GUI button of the folder, then I can see what contents inside this, right? Similarly, in the command, I mean in the terminal, oh god, I have this command ls. When I do like this, it gives me the same details: desktop, desktop, right? Documents, documents, then downloads, downloads music, then picture, public, snap, and template, and so other things, right? So this is the first command. But let me give you some information about the terminal, right? So some people call this terminal, right? Some people call this CLI, right? So it depends. I mean, all are correct. As I said, nothing is wrong in IT until and unless you know, or you, or the message is clear what you want to say. Okay. So on this screen, right? So here it's a different, but here you may be wondering what is this long thing, right? So everything has some meaning. Okay, it's not just give you the random things over here. No guys, it's not really not like that, right? Um, keep this. Okay, fine. So here, first thing, right? First thing, which means this is my username, right? DSOC3. And this one, it is my the system name where I'm logged in on, right? So when we install uh, the operating system, we give this name as our system name or machine name, right? Or computer name. So that is the same thing. And you know, um, I also told you we fix the problem by removing the space. So that's why it does not have space in between. You are allowed to space underscore and hyphen or dashes, right? So for remember, this is wherever you are. I mean, why I'm telling you, when I will tell you the part 2, the advanced command, then I will explain you more. But at the moment, this is your username, right? Then this is your server name or your machine name. And how we can check what is the server name? There is a command called host name. When I run this command, it will confirm my username or name of the server, right? We can also make changes of this. We will do that. And these are usually not the name in the production. right? So just reinstall. I give you the my first Ubuntu installation just to make it as my memory, right? Whenever do whatever we do first time, it should be very special, right? So that's why I gave this name. And how can I check which user? So of course I'm logged in, so I know this is my user, but there is one more command by which we can check who am I. So when you run this command here, right, this command give you the output of the user you are logged in. And both command has a special purpose. It's not just like they created the command just for fun. No, you will need it, right, when you do the automation, when you do the scripting, when you have to do the login on many server, right? So I will give you the more scenario. These are advanced, but very simple commands by which you can identify, right? Then this colon is it's fine. Yes, this line is also has some meaning. Let me make like this. Yeah. Okay. So we got to know. Okay, this is username. We can check by this one. Host. Who am I? Right. This is at the rate. Right. So it means this user is login at this machine or at this server. And this the command by which we can confirm what is this, right? Now, here I was talking about the tilde sign where you will find on maybe, yeah, if you have quadri keyboard, then right below this cap, this you will find this sign, okay? And in Linux, this means it's your home directory. Okay, these are very basic things. Keep remember, this means you are this tilde sign. It's called tilde. Some people say tilde. I heard different terms. For me, it's a tilde is enough because it's easy to say for me, right? So it's this one is says your home directory. We will come to that home. What is home directory means as well. And this is your prompt, right? So it there is a difference between this. So let me log in one thing. I provide login SEO. So you can see all details are same. Root, at the rate, my first Ubuntu installation, then this colon, this one as well. But what has changed? This dollar has changed into the hash prompt. So we call this as a dollar prompt. We call this as a hash prompt, right? So hash, it means when you log in as a root, then this prompt has changed. So by which you can change or you can see which kind of user you are logged in or what kind of access you have. So there are many questions on this as well based on the, I mean, interview, especially for the beginners. This is being asked. I mean, of course, if you say I'm a 15 years experience, 20 years, nobody is going to ask you this one, right? But as beginners, you should know these things. That's what I'm telling you, right? Dollar it means. So we will call this as a dollar prompt, and this is our cursor, right? Or blinker, which is just reflecting over here. So let me do it again at the its original size, and we move this over here, right? So very simple, right? DSOC3 is my username, at the rate machine name or the system name or the server name, right? Then it is this one, the dollar, I mean tilde sign is my home directory, and dollar is the prompt where I'm executing the command. And whatever this screen, this screen is called the terminal or command line interface, which we are gonna interact with the our operating system. Correct? Clear everything, guys, so far? Just give me thumbs up or to make sure we are all on the same page. Thank you, Raj. Thank you, Kamlesh. Thank you, guys, very much. So now, thank you, Anish. Oh, Harshit, thank you very much. Anish, thanks, guys, thanks. Yeah, it's like you are refueling me. Okay, so okay, this is clear. When we click on this, we come over here. When we open, so by default we over here. So I told you how we can confirm our content of the directory by which executing the command, right? ls. So so let's start with ls. Let's continue with the ls one first. And I'm doing control L, or you can also say clear, and your screen will be clear, right? Is the font enough to see, or should I make some changes? Okay, no worries. So let me keep this aside and okay, fine. So first I want to check where I am. So by which I can check already. Okay, it says tilde sign. It means I'm at home, my home directory, right? Basically over here. To confirm, I can execute this command. Now what we are going to do, we are going to first see the command. Okay, we will see the basic first command, which is the creating a directory first. So let's see. So we have the option, and before that I will tell you one more thing. Let's say this example ls, right? So first we should know where we should find, or where we will go and find the help. So of course, you can use many other stuff as well. So this is why I don't like it. So command dash dash help, and when you press like this, okay, this is the pipe sign and I am using this, then you have a lot of other information, right? So it says list information about the files, the current directory by default, right? So if you don't provide, right, here it says command, it says options, and it says file, and you see these are in bracket. So it means this kind of bracket, right? It means it's optional, right? How optional? Because I put the command ls, it gives me the output. It didn't ask me for the more parameters, right? For example, if I say user add, so first of all it says okay, something like this. Oh, sorry, typo. Let me clear screen first. So if I say user add or add user, right? So I have this many options, okay, and here it says give me some more things, or maybe you could say the user add, right? So this commands required more parameters, right? So some of the command does not require any of the parameter, or let's say this command simple. So now what happened? Cat, right? I did the cat, but it's also needs something. I can type over here. That is one of the other utility. So in simple way, what I wanted to show you, these are the options, right? And it says list information about the files, right? And by default it says the current directory by default, right? Here we have more other options, right? So we can check that as well, right? But let's start with the first creating one command, I mean the directory. And to create a directory we have a command, and that command is our mkdir, right? So maybe if you did this thing in school, right, the dos commands, so mkdir, right? So one more thing, okay, I wanted to check. Yeah, I already told you, right? By this we can find where we are. So we are at home directory, right? Means over here. So let's say we create first directory, let's say devsecops dash club. What happened? This directory is created over here, right? When I did like this, it was created over here. Now I want to create one more directory. So what I can do, I can click like this. I can say d soc3, okay, and I can say directory one, right? This has happened, but now I cannot see anything else. So what I can do, I have to go back, click over here and go, and then again click right click and create the directory. But I'm at command center, I mean the terminal. Here very simply I can create a directory. Sorry, forgot to switch the prompt. mkdir, right? And where I want to create inside this. Okay, so inside this devsecops dash club, inside this I want to create a directory, and which is dsoc3 directory 1. Then it says cannot create directory devsecops club, right? Why? Because this directory is already present, and which makes sense for us as well, right? File exists, that's fine. Now I want to create another directory, let's say devsecopsclub, or maybe I can say directory 2. So you can see the directory 2 was created, right? Similarly, I want to create one more directory, and which is like directory 3 was also created. But what happened when I'm creating many files, right? And I know, okay, sometimes some files are already there. So for example, you are installing something, or maybe you execute a pipeline, right? And in pipeline, some of the time what happened, you end up with I mean, you are creating some of the directories for temporary purpose of your pipeline. Then some of the directories are already there, right? Maybe your pipeline broken or something. So what happened, you don't want to recreate those files again, right? To not the disturb the existing structure. Then what you do, there is an option by which you can say like this, and this time we did not get any error. So okay, so exactly what it does, so when you used dash p, it means it says okay, it checks whether the directory is present or not, right? If directory is present, it doesn't create again, right? If the directory is not present, then it creates the directory. So now directory 4 is created, very powerful thing. It is not creating directory number 5, correct? So this is what happened when we want to create a directory using dash p. So dash p is very powerful whenever, especially I would say when you create, when we will also, I will tell you in Docker, like when you create the Docker files, you are creating directory inside. So what happens, some of the files or some of the directories are already there, but you want to create new directories, right? And in that case, what happened, for example, let me say this one. Okay, let me first complete what I was telling about. So let's say this devsecops club is my configuration directory, which comes by default from the vendor side or the distribution of the Linux, right? So we know the /etc, right? And inside that, I want to create my own files. So should I as a DevOps engineer or admin, I should not go ahead and mess up with the system files, right? So in that case, what I should do, or I can do, I can simply use this option. So let's say, why not, let me show you this one. So I say /etc, okay, and of course we cannot go from here, but let me show you something like this. It says permission denied. Okay, I have the permission, I use this one, then I provide the password. Okay, and if I see, right, if I want to see what happened over here, I think maybe we are going this one, just to show you guys. So devsecops club, right? So this directory was not before, we created by the commands, this command, right? So in that kind of scenario, this -p is very useful, where this directory is exists, or this entire path, like I showed you. If this entire directories exist, fine, it will not create a directory, but if it is not there, then it will create a directory, and then you can go on with that, right? Very simple. So I will, let me delete this first, so otherwise or I will delete this later. Okay, so clear what we have done. We have created three directories, 1, 2, 3, and the SOC3 directory 4. Right now, what I'm gonna do, I'll just select this, right click on this, and move to trash. Good. Now I want to create all this directory in one go. So what I can do, so let me also delete this one. Move to trash. Done. So I will say devsecops-club. God, why I chose this big name. Let's go. Okay. Okay. Club, and inside that I will create dsoc3 directory 1. Right, let me copy paste this one. Then I give the space. Then I'm using Control Shift V. Okay, on Linux and Windows you will use Control Shift C to copy, Control Shift V, yeah, to paste. Okay, you need to use, I mean, in Windows you have Control C, Control V. In Windows these are have some specific other function. When you press Control C and Control V in Linux, it's different. So that's why they came up with the things. Okay, Control Shift C, Control Shift V. You have Control C and Control V still there, just you have to use Control plus Shift plus other things, right? Then I created another directory and I called this 3, and let me change the name of this. It is directory 1, directory 2, and I think directory 3. So there are 3, and let's pray this will create the DevSecOps that clip. Okay. See, that's what happened. Long name, but let's fix this before we go ahead, otherwise it's not good. Oops, wrong shortcut. Okay, so mkdir devsecops dash club dsoc3 directory 1 devsecops dash club dsoc3 directory, it should be 3, or okay, anyways, 2 and 3. So hit enter, and it says no such file or directory. So we know, okay, yes, there is no such. So which directory is not there? It says cannot create directory, and it sings the entire everything, right? But because first of all it checks whether this directory is present or not. So of course we do not have this directory, right? So we can maybe create this one, but let's go ahead and use the utility dash p, right? And here we go. Now as we know, of course UI is good, but has some, I have to go and see everywhere. Okay, these files are created inside this file, inside this file, and all this thing. But right at here, what I can do, I can simply say dsoc3, and I can see, okay, these files are created. Got it, guys? So that's very simple command. I hope you know. But here the important point for you to remember is dash p. Okay, when we will be creating the Docker images and all this Docker files, we will be using this option, and I told you why this option is important, right? So mkdir, this is devsecopsclub, and it says cannot create directory, it's a file access, right? So it means, so if we have each and every directory, right, so by which it will give you the same. So okay, cd is another utility, right? So what I will do, cannot create, okay, sorry. So similarly, what I have over here, these directories are there. So let's say 1 dash v. Okay, it says for each and every file, it prints a message for each. I mean, when we use this option, what I wanted to show you. So when we use v, it will give you a kind of message where it says, okay, the directory was created. So directory 1, inside that I want to create directory 1 2, right? One inside one. Then it says mkdir directory created. And but if you do like this, you will notice this, it will not give me any message over here. Oh, sorry, mkdir, right? So I did not get any message. So if you want some confirmation, use v, and v dash v is widely used, okay, which is for verbose. I mean, it will give you the more information. If you want, you can use it, right? So clear, guys, mkdir, right? Very simple, very easy, basic stuff, right? Now we know there is option called cd, and to check the cd command we have cd dash dash help, and I will tell you what is this in a moment. It says change the shell working directory. Okay, wherever we are working, wherever we are on, it will, if you want to change the directory, okay, it will go and give us that kind of help, right? So for example, I know by ls I can check what kind of directory I have created, and I told you I have to go inside, and so I have to go like this, right? But in case of command line, what I can do, I can execute this command cd. Here I can check what I want to do, what I need to do. Then these of three, right? Directory 1, I can go inside, I can again do the ls, then it lists the content, then I can do cd, and after that cd I can do dir11, right? Else else what? So this is one of the way to go inside the directory. Here I had to click, right? And maybe you realize I'm here also, I'm doing the same thing, right? So that is not a good way. It's like I'm clicking on one by one on the folder. So I have direct option. And one more thing, when I, here wherever I am, whenever I execute the command cd without any parameter or without any further input, this will directly go to my this place, right? So it was before here, right? And now I'm directly on my home directory. So now what I will do, I know I have to see the directory inside. So I said cd, then devsecops, I just press the tab button and it will do the fulfill. Again I press tab and it will give me the options available over here. So dsoc 3 directory 1, I want to go into this. Then dsoc, sorry, then inside directory 1 it will give me again the option. I selected first one, and after that I do not have any option. I then what happened, I directly come to this location. I really don't have to go and click on each and every location of the folder, right? So why this is helpful, that's why when we are writing a script, right, when we are doing some automation, then we know, okay, where my file will be created, where I have to create a file. Let's say this directory is already created, so inside this I want to create this one and this one as well at the very same time. So I can do the slash dash p option, and this one is to, I can directly jump into or go towards until the end of this directory, right? So cd is very simple. So there are two things over here, guys, why I showed you this command. You may be thinking, okay, we know cd change directory, what's the thing? Okay, you also told us why we will use it, but why I showed you here? So there are two things over here. One thing, when you are clicking like this, okay, so there are two things here, absolute versus relative path. So you, when you've done cd devsecopsclub, then you change the directory from your home directory to here, right? After that you again go over here, cd dsoc3 and the directory. Again, this is relative path. Relative, it means you are over here and after that you are going the directory inside it. This is relative path. And for example, I am here. Okay, so here what I have done, I have given the devsecops club dash dsoc3 directory 1 directory dir1-1, right? Next time I will choose the simple name. But the point here is this is also relative. So absolute means when I do like this, okay, cd slash inside slash, okay, there is a one more command I can say pwd, okay, so pwd help less. So as you can see, print the name of the current working directory. Okay, it says print, not present. Some people say present working directory, some people say print working directory, right? So for me, all good. I know what you're referring. Okay, and many people don't feel offensive, right? When you say print or present working directory, right? It means the same because it also, but here it says official name in documentation help. It says print the name of the current working directory, right? So pwd, okay. So we have executed this command. This gives us the entire path. What is the path of this one? Then this path and this path, okay. So there is a difference. This path is called absolute path, okay. This path is called relative path. Why absolute? Because we know this is the top level directory. Above slash we don't have anything, okay. We have only slash, which is top. So when you include everything since beginning, right, then it is called as a absolute path, okay. Then, and this is called your relative because you are currently you are in your home directory, and since from there you are going to execute this one. So if I say like this, cd dash, I'm directly back to my home directory. And if I, how can I confirm? pwd, so it says my home directory. And if I click like, I mean, if I execute the command like this, so I told you ls slash home, where all users have its home directory, and dsoc is one of the user, right, okay, which has a home directory over here. When we will be creating more user, all the directory will be created over here. But if I go, so as I said, I can use absolute path as well as relative path, right? So there is a difference in between. I told you on where to use what. So sometimes it is critical, right? Maybe you did some make some script where you are checking the entire path, okay, or maybe you are comparing two strings. Let's say path 1 should be like this and path 2 should be like this. When both are equal, then go ahead and execute this command, right, or go ahead and do this automation. In that case, if when you're comparing the string, so when you compare like this, right, of course we can also say it's a different, right, because we are, so when system does, so we, the system or operating system, these are the machines, they are programmed in a way. So when you say okay, compare this string with this string, so it checks everything. There are so many other stuffs as well, but just as a understanding, consider this one as not consider, actually it is the absolute path when you start from very beginning and go up to the end of this, right. So when I copy this path, or not copy, let's say slash home, okay, this of 3, inside that I have devsecopsclub, and again 1, but this time okay, let's go 1, then inside that I have a directory 1. And guys, if you go over here, I can confirm the path by which, okay. So in this way you use these two strings, okay. cd is to change the directory, right, and it's a development, sorry, absolute path was a beginning path. I also told you about this stuff, right, this one, right. So either, okay, one more thing, cd dash, it means wherever you are in previously in any of the directory, you will go back over there. So I was just wanted to tell you, I said okay, when you hit cd, okay, and hit enter, you will land into your home directory. Instead, I can also use this tilde one, right, and I'm again at my home directory. I can confirm by using this pwd command. Okay, very simple. Okay, I need to check also time as well. So very quickly I go and show you more command very quickly, but not, I will not skip any of the things, right? I think our session has more time. Okay, I will quickly finish then. So making the directory, okay, then navigating the directory, how we can list the content, and inside this, right, inside this ls, I'm sorry, I told you this option, one more option is there, one is this one, cd dash, right? So wherever you are, okay, right now I'm in this directory. If I say like this, so is before this, right, before coming to this directory I was in this directory. So when this is useful, so you can see this very long path. So when you are doing some work on the server or configuring on the server, so of course cd dash c, when you say cd, it will land you directly to the home directory. But you forget something in previous directory, so and you don't see all this information, so simply, because on server you can only see this thing, not entire this thing sometimes, right? Or especially in container, so you can simply use the cd dash command to go back to the previous directory where you are working on, and you can take your stuff from there itself, right? Or if you want to copy that particular part to use in your script or in your automation, so by that you can use that. Okay, then this is another thing. Then we want to create some of the file, so we have a command touch, right? So let's say devsecops club. Inside that I create a file one, let's put it simple one, right? So I can check it over here, devsecops club, and the file is created, right? Similarly, I have the option rm, by which I can remove the file, but I'm not gonna remove at the moment. Now what I can do, I want to see the content. So one command is this one, but we are just getting very few information, right? I say like this, so I have another choice. I could say like this, ls minus lrt. It's very simple thing. This command is very useful in case of when you are doing something on your server, right? Or even you're doing your scripting work, and when thousands files will be created or already created, and you want to find what is or when it is created at the end, or right before the um, right before the stopping of your or broken of your pipeline, then you can simply execute this command. It will list all this. So when you say like this l, right, so it gives a long listing. When you do like this lt, so you can see the timing 16 and all these things, right? When you click r, so it will give you in reverse direction of the time and list. So this was the last file created over here. If you don't know, then we can say okay, file number 2. Let's see, maybe I can create one file inside the template. Sorry. Okay, now let's see. So see, it is letting us know, okay, in which folder or which directory if file is created. I mean, of course we create file inside this, right? So it gives us, okay, in this particular directory the something has happened. So like your pipeline was broken, you can execute this command, you then you directly go to this directory and you can check, okay, what are the files are created. Let's say your automation script creating a lot of directories, and if something goes wrong, then by which this command you can identify where is the problem happened, right? So ls is very simple but equivalently powerful, right? Then also I already showed you pwd, right? And I have already told you by the creating empty file we have command touch. We can also have some other command by which, like for example, no echo, I'm not telling him right now, right? So let's say vi, so vi is one of the editor, right? And that's it. Here I go ahead, we have file one. Okay, I have opened this, I press I, and I said okay, first, let's say first. Mhm. Okay, anyways. That's the problem. Okay, so we have created the text inside that. If you want to read the file, then we have a command, okay, which is cat. Oh, sorry, and these are the text okay, whatever random text I typed over there, by which we can read. Okay, so cp is the cat is one of the command. Okay, and there are some more things like this, just the copy. So in this directory, okay, go over here, and here we have some files, right? We want to copy the file one into let's say the soc2 directory. So what I can do, I simply cp file name one and I put the destination. When I say like this, still of course file will be over here, but if I say dsoc2, my file will be go over here. And if I won't have, I do not have any of the file in directory 3, so simply I can do file 2 or maybe file 1 in inside the dsoc3 as well. And when I run this command dsoc3, the file is copied, right? So cp command is very useful. You can copy along here to there the documents, like instead of just clicking over here copy paste, you can also say we can drag into this and this will work for us. So yes guys, that's also there, but here you have to select what you want to do, right? Here it will also done like this, right? So but we have option by which we can forcefully perform our operation, and that is -f, right? This is one stuff. Second stuff I would like to show you, mv is the command to move the file. There are two functions can be used by this. Okay, if you want to move your file from one place to another, you can use the file mv. So let's say if I want to move file m1, no, f1 is already there. Let's do we are moving file f2 from this directory, right, to directory 2. Let's say if we have something. Okay, so at the moment in directory 1 we do not have anything, so we are free. So let me copy this one, move this one, right, this soc3, and where I want to put it in directory 1. I'm done. And when I say like this, when I execute the command ls, I can see the file 2 is no more available, right? Just use the up arrow key to go to previous command, right? And when you click, sorry, not move, ls directory 1, and now you can see the f2. So this is the move, okay, cut and paste operation. Same command can be used to rename the file. So I have the file is f3. I use f1 as a, and given the file new file name. So this is my source file name, this is my destination file name, okay, like this. So now you can see this file 1 was showing f3 before it was showing f2, like this. So same command is used for cut and paste, and same command is used for renaming as well. So remember, when you can do the renaming, when the file is already exist, okay, and you are moving into the new file name, right, in that case. And when you're moving from one location to another, then you can also use move. So move file or rename the file, right? And what else we have? Okay, I believe this is enough. Now I have showed you last command rm, and I clear this remove file 3. It's gone. Let's see what happened. We have f3, so I can simply say rm directory 3, and what I want to remove, okay, the file 1. I can see file. So file 1 is also gone. This directory is empty. It should also gone from here. So rm directory 2, and here we have file 1. So you could guys see when I show like this. this says this folder is empty now, right? Similarly, we have this file f2. Here we have don't any of the file. Here we don't have any of the file. Additionally, there is one more thing I would like to show you over here. Control C, control. Oops, not control. Control means like this. Control Shift C, Control Shift V. No. Anyways, I am faster than this one then. So directory 3. So directory 3 ls. Okay. Okay. Anyways, I just wanted to tell you we can also have in one go we can remove multiple files as well. So I can tell you touch file 1, touch file 2, touch file 3, touch file 4. Okay, and we can confirm this by using this command. So we have all these files. What I can do, I can say, okay, first let me remove all these files into the soc3 directory. Okay, all are gone. Now I go into this the soc3 one. Okay, I'm here. I can check by pwd. I can check the content, right? And these contents are like this f1 f12. So there is a command rm, and I can use the star. Okay, one option I can say rm file 1. Okay, then I can say I can type rm file 2. Instead of that, I can say rm and star. So star is, it means this will remove all the files from the file directory 3, and this directory is empty now, right? Similarly, there is one more command 3. Okay, but let me clear the other things as well. So this directory is clear, it does not have anything. Here we have this string. Now I have a command to use rm. So I use rm, and I use DSOC3 devsecopsclub. So it says cannot remove devsecopsclub. It's asking us to, it's a directory or not. Yes, it is, but it cannot remove. Why? Because this one is not empty. So let's see, we know DSOC3 is the empty one. Now I use DSOC3. Again, it's saying the same thing, rm. So what I will do, I will perform the command rmdir. But before that, let me show you one last thing. I think rmdir and d devsecopsclub. But now it says it's not empty, right? So what I will do, I will cd dash, it means I'm going back to my previous directory. Now I will say rmdir and devsecops directory 3, and now it is deleted, right? 2 will be deleted. Now let's see what happened with the one, and it is not empty, but still we want to remove this directory. So what is the possibly command we can do? Rm okay, we can use forcefully, we can remove this one, right? So let's try with rmdir, and if I say force, and let's see what happens. So this is not recognized. So in that case, okay, this rmdir is only used for the empty directory. Okay, when you have the empty directory, so where is this useful? Okay, this kind of pipeline things, lot of files were created, right? And lot of files, and you want to delete only empty directory. So what you can do, you can do rmdir command in order to remove the empty directory. But we want to remove this as well, dsoc1, but it says no. So I have option rm, say have, and this is a directory. Okay. rf, I can remove this one, and yes. So because it was contained some, I mean it has some content inside, that's why this command was not working, right? rm. So I said recursively delete everything from the inside forcefully, and don't ask me anything. And finally, when we come back over here, then we are inside here in this directory devsecopsclub. If I do this command, but I can also use rm dir, because this is the empty one, and now this directory is removed, right? So we have seen the basic commands. right? What basic commands we have run? We can use the history, okay, and history will give us the commands which you have executed already, right? So first I will tell you how you can create the directory, right? How you can navigate the directory using the cd command. You can create the file using the touch command. Then you can read the file. We will see the vi editor in next one because that is important. And we'll also see how we can remove the directory as well, right? And with that said, I would say this is the wrap up for this one. And you could see now it's time to power off. So see, it's very simple to do the power off instead of going and clicking on many places. So simple, I put the command power off and now the virtual machine is turned off already, right? So let's get back over here. And that's it from my side for today's. So let's go to this one. Of course, if you have something, you can write me. At the moment, if you have any questions, please guys ask me. And first of all, thank you very much. Again, this session, yes, we planned for 2 hours and 30 minutes, but again, it extended, but that's okay. Do you have any questions, guys? No? Anybody? Okay. So, yeah, Pradeep, please go.
Yeah, please go. So I was wanting to know, can you give the PDF or something so that we can we can try it out ourselves on our computers or wherever we can.
Yes. So, yes, we have a repository. I didn't show you at the moment, but yes, I will share where you will get all the commands and the answers. How, what are the answers itself? I mean, of course, I showed you over here. If you want, you can watch it. But I mean, you, Pradeep, you were not there in last session. I think you joined by, this is your first session, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I believe, okay. Yeah, I know who's you come from the reference. Yeah. So I told you my motto is not you guys to sit and watch this video to make your own notes. That would be much better. And for practice, yes, we have a WhatsApp group. We will be posting questions in there, like I did this for previous sessions which we had on this. So the exercise question I post over there. Similarly, I will post the exercise question for this as well in our WhatsApp group. And as you ask for where I can find, so at the moment we have the repository, right? In GitHub repository, I will let you know where you can find those. And so it is actually over there. So once I will show you over there. So I did not start GitHub, but yeah, I will post the link, right? You can directly access from there and you can practice the commands that will give you and this is just the command, but the exercise question which I will send you, that will give you more exposure. What I showed you over here, it's the concept. Okay, ls command does like this, move mb command does like this, right? But when I send you the exercise question, that will put all your these learnings into in action. Then you realize, okay, this command is used basically for this purpose. Okay, so that's the thing. And any other question? Did I answer your question, Pradeep, or do you have further question?
No, so thank you. Resources would be good. And I have a question.
Mhm.
Uh, my laptop is BitLocker encrypted, and I'm trying to install on a USB drive Ubuntu, so it's not happening. So I have to remove the BitLocker in case I want to install it with Windows.
Mhm. Okay. How did you enable this encryption? I mean, in Windows.
In Windows, so it automatically come up with the Windows laptop these days. So it's encryption that blocks the drive for being used by hackers or something.
Mhm.
So I cannot even install anything on it at the time being. So just wanted to know, I'm trying to install on the USB drive so that I can make it a live bootable
Yes.
drive.
Ah, okay.
Allowing.
I got your question. Yes, so by live you can use it, but you cannot access those encrypted partitions, right? And yes, in by live session, you can do that. How it goes? I also use the live pen drive for you this same one. And yes, you can, if you want to access your drive into the Linux live desktop, then you can disable the BitLocker in Windows and you can use that. But as a it's a security feature, I won't recommend. I mean, of course, you are accessing your own content, no harm, but it's still, so that's your choice. So if you want to access live environment, you can do it, and it will not impact. And
And
Mhm. Any further questions?
no, so that's it for today.
Okay, I'm very glad to answer. Anybody else? Any questions? No. Okay, guys. So from my side, I think let's try this. Big thank you, Harshit, and for the feedback. And I think, yeah, I learned this one. It's good. So that was my time. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mayank, for the feedback. Harshit, always the emojis from your sides are amazing. So we will see each other next week. Guys, keep practicing, and you will be getting more questions in our WhatsApp group. And in our last video, especially, we'll receive a lot of love from many people. I think it was more than 10 or 20% what we are attending online. People watched that our video last time we uploaded, and by that other people are also registered for our live training. So when they will be here, we will introduce them. But yes, that was a great. So big thank you, and we will see each other next year. And I wish you a very good start of new year, and may your all wishes come true. And in short, happy new year to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Have a new year to you as well.
Okay, guys, then see you next week. Bye bye, take care.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Harshit. Okay.